All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, Wura. Hi, Ade. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Hello,
Hello, good afternoon. Good evening, actually.
Oh, yeah, evening already. Yes. Awesome. So I think we can get this show started. So according to today's agenda, I think I'm supposed to just introduce both speakers. Um, yes. So first of all, I'll just introduce myself. My name is David. I'm the growth manager for MyCover AI. I've been in the marketing space for the past 7 years. Started as a digital marketer and then transitioned into growth marketing. I've had the opportunity to work in SaaS, fintech, ride hailing, food delivery, and currently now in the insurance space. Um, Particularly focus on customer acquisition, activation, and retention. That's usually what my beat has usually been around. So it's nice to be here. It's nice to have conversations around getting customers through traditional media. We know we're in this age where everybody's hyper focused on digital, but then I think traditional marketing still has like a major role to play. So yeah, that's just me in a nutshell. We also have with us Wuraola Abulatan. She's a strategic communication and marketing professional with over 9 years of experience across fintech, civic tech, and advocacy. She's currently the communications manager at Afriex, where she leads global campaigns, product marketing, and diaspora communications across 30 plus countries. She's a skilled storyteller, UX writer, digital strategist. She's also passionate about amplifying African voices, driving user engagement, and using communication as a tool for impact and growth. So it's really nice to have you here, Wura. Do you mind just saying hello to everyone?
Hello, everyone. Really glad to be here today. Thank you so much for the introduction, David.
Thank you. And our other speaker is Adedamola Hakim Usman. Adedamola is a seasoned public relations and marketing and communications professional with over 3 years of experience crafting and compiling brand narratives and delivering integrated media strategies across Nigeria and West Africa. He's currently serving as the deputy manager media buying at James Communications and formerly at a PR analyst at Quadrant MSL. He has consistently led campaigns that balance creativity, strategy, and commercial impact. Adedamola has worked across a broad range of sectors, including FMCG, tech, aviation, fintech, and development-focused NGOs, delivering value to clients such as Qatar Airways, Peak Milk, Bet King, Bet Niger Foundation, Turkish Airlines, Cadbury, Bonvita, Fan Milk, Olam Agric, and Rico Ghana. Adedamola expertise spans media buying, which is TV, radio, OH, print, digital, influencer marketing strategy, press and public affairs, events PR, content development, and stakeholder management. With a background in mass communication, his work reflects deep commitment to culturally attuned storytelling and data-driven execution that resonates with today's diverse audiences. So, Adedamola, it's really nice to have you here. Do you mind saying hello to everyone?
hello, everyone. Thank you very much, David, for the concrete introduction. I appreciate that.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So today we'll be discussing beyond the internet, how to get customers through traditional media. As a growth manager, one of my every single day, all I think about is how do I get customers? How do I reach my target audience? And we're talking about beyond the internet. That is how do we even go after? Besides that, what are other channels? What are other platforms? What are other sources of getting new customers that we can leverage on? So we'll be talking. It's going to be a very interactive conversation. Just drilling into your depth of experience and your various fields on how you've leveraged on other channels to get your customers. But I have a random question. I have a random question though. We've seen currently in Nigeria, we see a lot of campaigns out there, traditional media campaigns out there. Which one are this year in Nigeria so far in 2025? Which one has struck you the most? So this is Director Abu. What campaign, any brand that you've seen that has done something in traditional media space this 2025 that I feel cool? These guys have really done something different. And anyone wants to just chip in.
Okay, yeah, hi. I think I was just I think Canva. Well, you said in Nigeria, sorry, I've not been going outside this year. So Canva's OH campaign is one that has really caught my attention. I recently saw it. Like I think,
Okay.
and one of the good metrics of a good OH campaign is that it's also driving conversations online. And that's how I came across it because of course they're not advertising it here in Nigeria. So yeah, really good. I don't
Okay.
know if anyone else has seen it.
Fair enough. I haven't seen it, but I'll definitely look into it now that you mentioned. I'll definitely. How about you, Ade? Any?
Okay, I have two brands in mind, and my number one brand is Pepsi. So what they did with Young John, the Big Things campaign, because it cut across digital and traditional. You know, anytime I see any Pepsi bottle, the music that pops up in my head is big things, la la la, all of that. And another one I'm going to pick is I will pick Premium Trust Bank. So what they did with Lona on Third Miller Bridge, because they happens to put one of their campaign on the largest billboard in West Africa, if not the world. That stood out for me because anytime I pass through that axis, I'll just be like, oh, I am looking forward to see that billboard that houses Lona campaign. So yeah, that's it.
Oh, definitely. I definitely agree with you because I've been seeing it. Anytime I drive through Tottenham, I was like, what's going through these guys when they decided to do this? Like, and execution is quite good because I like the message. It's straightforward. You get the message and you can't miss it. So anybody who's going through that, you just can't miss it. It's just really remarkable. I'm very curious to see what the results would be like because I think especially for those of us who are in like performance marketing, one of the major issues are always like, okay, we've done this thing, what's the result, like how do you track ROI? And I'm sure we're going to be diving into that as we go into the conversations fully. All right, thank you. So I think we're ready to now like just jump in. Hopefully our audience is settled in and everybody's ready to go. All right. So I'm going to start off with like some general questions just for us to just um, dive deep into this whole conversation about getting customers through traditional media. So my first question, I think maybe we'll start. Adi can start first, and then Wura can also chip in after. Is in an era dominated by digital, what is the most significant misconception businesses have about the effectiveness of traditional media in reaching customers today, particularly in a market like Nigeria?
Okay, yeah, all right, David. So I think one of the biggest misconceptions about traditional media is, from my point of view, I think a quite numbers of people, most especially the Gen Zs, believe that traditional media is outdated. And trust me, in reality, traditional media still command massive reach, credibility, and cultural relevance. Just like what we mentioned earlier about Luna being on the biggest billboard in West Africa or in the world. The quite numbers of people that they don't use traditional media. When they come across that billboard, they will know that okay, there is a bank which is Premium Trust Bank. So that is just it for me.
Okay. Thank you very much, Adi. I think that's quite succinct. Like traditional media, you believe it's still very relevant, and brands still have a lot to gain by leveraging on it. Over to you, Wura. What are your thoughts on this?
Thank you very much, David. So I'm just going to be supporting what Adedamola has said. Really the biggest misconception really is that it is outdated and it's not relevant, which is not so, especially for Nigeria, because more than half of the population still rely on traditional media as a means of getting information about not just what's happening in the world, but entertainment, what's happening in their immediate environment and what product to buy and all of that. No, I think another maybe slightly follow-up misconception might be that it is difficult to track, or it is impossible to track. So while it may be a bit, it may be less easy to track as opposed to digital platforms where, maybe you can just straight up see impressions on a poster, everything, but that doesn't mean it is impossible to track. It is very, very much possible to track. So yeah, obsolete traditional media is nowhere near obsolete. I mean, this is the example of Canva, for example. Canva, it's a digital product, right? You need to go online to access it, but they're advertising offline. So if if it's not relevant, why would they even, do that? So relevancy is something that is still very much in the play for traditional media. And I even feel like calling traditional media and digital media, it's even, when people hear traditional, they're thinking, oh, old school, things we need to let go of. So I don't know where or who are the ones that need to maybe reframe even that narrative. I think it would really help a lot more people because once you hear anything traditional, you're just, you're assuming it's ancient, right? But fortunately for traditional media, it might be ancient, but it's something that will continue to be relevant. Like its relevance is so it's timeless, more or less. So of course it's going to be reiterated upon, it's going to be improved, it's going to be better, but that access that it has and everything is still going to remain. So that's my contribution to that question.
All right, thank you very much, Wuraola. Thank you very much. So piggybacking off what you just said, I remember my first job just as a green eye digital marketer was working with Save Border, and I remember when during my assessment I was like, oh well, we're going to run digital ads, we're going to push app downloads, get people to download the app, activate them, and then when we got into the market in Ibadan, that was the mindset I went into. Like, you know what, Facebook, Google ads, we're going to just bomb everywhere. We'll get the Gen Z to start downloading the app and using the app. But then after like maybe a month of doing these same things, and then there was zero traction. We just have to like look at, okay, the few customers who are, what is their makeup, how do they behave? And what I found out was that the core users or our power users were not necessarily the digital savvy people. So they were not even spending that much time online. I think it was in that job I got to realize that there are people who actually turn off their data and they only turn it on when they need to use the internet. And once they're done, they turn the data off. So how do you reach those kind of people with digital ads? And that was when I had that mindset of like, you know what, I think I need to start exploring traditional media channels. And that was when our growth became explosive. So invested in billboard ads, radio ads, and then we started to see major traction with power users and people who were going to use our products every other day. So I think it's a lesson for everyone, especially if you are in the startup phase whereby our core reflex is to just go digital because we are pushing digital products. But then there's a lot of opportunity that you can leverage on with traditional media. I think another thing which I'll just add to it, that the misconception also is that traditional media is quite expensive. It's quite expensive. So a lot of people
That is
see
not a misconception. that is not a total misconception. Let me not say it's not a misconception,
okay,
but it's not a total misconception.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to
I,
share your thoughts on that
I,
Well,
one?
I
I,
mean, it's expensive.
David, I actually have a reservation about that.
Okay, so let's get your thoughts then. Let's get your thoughts
No, no,
then.
no, 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 no. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, no
No, no,
worry. We'll still get to it.
that's what
We'll,
we're
we,
here
It,
for.
it,
So,
it
we will
is.
get to
It,
it.
it,
We will
I
get to
mean,
it.
compared to, so I feel like I wouldn't say it's expensive. I think based on the um awareness it creates for your brand, I think the pricing is commensurate, right? Where maybe business owners or management level people might have some friction is that um what you're telling them is okay, 10,000 people or 1 million people have seen it, and then I'm like, yeah, so pay 10 million. And to them, I'm like, wow. So I think it is commensurate because the good thing about it, especially platforms that are available billboard, is that it's really it's a long-term game for most campaigns, right? And once it's cemented, the messaging on these platforms, once it's stuck in your audience's mind, you already have, they already have like that brand knowledge to an extent. So when they go online and see it, it's easier. Like that familiarity is already there, right? So yeah, but it is expensive. Adedamola, okay, okay? Just give. You don't need to go in depth into your reservation. Is
Okay.
is it yes or no?
Oh, I will say no.
It's
So
not expensive.
traditional media is
No,
not
okay, so
terribly
Friday is on the
expensive.
receiving side.
It's not
So
terribly expensive. Okay, so okay, let's look at it from this angle. You know, for startups, I have this client of mine. This person reached out and he said, "Okay, fine, I want to be on the billboard. I want people to hear about my story. I want them to see my jingle and the like." And the first question I ask this person is, "How much is your budget?" And this person was able to open up. Okay, this is so amount I'm looking at, and I said, "Sir, this is my candid advice. You don't have to be on a large format billboard before people can see you. Do you get? People will still get the message. Even as a matter of fact, on digital billboard, LED boards, for as low as 150,000 naira, you can advertise your product. Do you understand? So, and
All
on
right.
radio, I'm not going to talk about TV because TV is quite expensive. Before you can, put out a commercial on TV, you pay a lot of money for slots, and even the
Yeah.
approval alone can hit a lot of your money. Even on radio, for as low as 3,000 naira, you can buy a slot in a radio station. So it now depends on the numbers of slots that you want to buy. Well, whenever I'm planning, I always tell people, buy a slot in the morning, then you can do 30 days. After that 30 days, if you are not seeing the return on investment, then you can put a pause to it and use what works for you. So that is so simple. So I won't totally agree. It is quite expensive, but I
Yeah,
will not
you're
totally
right.
agree.
Yes, yes. And it just reminds me of what you said. It's true. Like you said, it's not a must that you go for the biggest, start small. Start with your budget, right? Okay, if you can't even afford billboard now, you can get some marketers, give them your flyers, let them, it's still part of it. So yeah, you can have those leaflets that once you're passing by, there's just like those small ones. Those ones I always read them whenever I'm driving. Like I'm just like, okay, what are they putting there? So yeah, true. Okay. Let's say we are meeting halfway.
all
Oh,
right, all
great,
right,
great, great. Great to accept that.
all right.
Uh,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really, really great start to this conversation. So my next question is going to be, and I think I want Mura to start first. So based on your experience, what specific traditional media channels are currently yielding the best return on investment for businesses in Nigeria and why? So I think you can take this from your business personally, and then what you think generally for businesses in Nigeria.
okay, so let me see. Actually, when because I also studied mass comm, so like when they tell you means of mass communication, you have your radio, you have the TV, you have the billboards and all of that. So just straight up um in terms of the one that is not uber pricey and will still like really give you that awareness, and it's also in a platform that is actionable where you can put out an instruction for people to do. I think radio is one of the best in terms of ROI, right? Radio really does, because even after the ad, especially depending on the shows you place it, your ad, the presenters can also chip in one or two about it, right? They can discuss it, even if it's that you have people, another like a lot of, I don't even know what to call them, like people that sell, I don't know, that offer services, they go on radio shows a lot, talk about like, oh, call us, because and then radio also allows for like a lot of repetition, uh, right? Whereas a lot of repetition and then it will not break the bank. So with radio, you can run your ads 30 times in a day if you have the budget, spread it out. People are reading it. So yeah, radio really does give you can give them instruction like, okay, visit this or sign up with this, or call this number for action. So radio gives you that actionable insights as well. So radio is really good. Another good really, really okay traditional media channel events are also good, event activations, because while you're there, you're not only interacting with people, getting good feedback, you're getting them to take action, you're getting them to sign up, you're getting them to try the product while you're there. You're seeing how they're using it. If you're product oriented, because comms is not only about just communicating to people, especially if you're selling digital products or services. You want to ensure that you're getting actionable feedback that you can take back to your teammates to improve the product. So you're seeing, let's say sign up, for example, you're trying to sign someone up, you're seeing some possible bottlenecks. whoever it is you're engaging to carry out your market storms or your offline local events, you already brief them on things to note. So yeah, that really helps because you can straight up convince people there. That will even also give you good feedback into if your product is even something that people need. Because even based on, you're telling someone about it, like, oh my God, and all of that. So you can even help you pivot if needed and all of that. So yeah, radio is always like a very, very good one. And then banners, branded buses, and events. Yeah. And radio is also very trusted. I mean, as we know, even if a lot of people cannot afford in Nigeria, unfortunately, the country is not the most stable wise. Like, so we can, if we say that, okay, we have like a lot of people earning below the minimum wage is not even enough for us to live by. And most people may not have a TV, they have a radio. So radio reaches more people. That radio, you're on your phone. Even the phone that doesn't have a mobile network, sorry, not mobile network, that doesn't have browsing network. Is that mobile network? Mobile
Yeah,
network is for calling, right?
it's internet connection.
That doesn't have internet connection. Thank you. Has a radio, right? And then a lot of people have those phones. So yeah, so radio really has that wide, larger reach. I don't want to say, yeah, I guess it works, and then it's very actionable. So I think radio is a good one. And then it's very price. I wouldn't say price sensitive. I don't know how Adedamola put it, but yeah, with radio you can really find your price. You can find your price, and then yeah, your product will get in the ears of the people that you want to get it to.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Wuraola. Thank you for that in-depth insight. So Ade, how about you? What do you think? What traditional media channels do you think are yielding the best return on
So
investment?
yeah, all right. I think Wura has killed it already, but I will still pick radio because when we talk about localized content and affordability, so radio comes into play. And now, there's this trend with radio, the whole piece. So I have seen somebody that listen to, I don't know if it is Cool FM, this guy, Dotun Energy Guard, and this person will tell me that, oh, because I want to listen to Dotun, I must listen to this particular station. And I was just like, wow. So because of OAPs, you guys listen to radio. And I think same thing also applies to Nedu because these OAPs with their followers on social or on digital platform, they were able to drag their audience back to the traditional media. So yes, I will pick radio. I will pick radio. Then secondly, I'll also pick billboard. And ask me why. A lot of brands they were doing magic, and OPay OPay is doing a thing. Even Jumia they are doing a thing with billboards. So OPay recently, they just launched a campaign whereby you can use USSD code to do transaction, and because they believe that okay, fine. So when we first started, it was digitally focused, but now a lot of people can perform transaction without internet access with their basic phones, and through USSD code now you can use OPay. They put their QR code on billboard, and everybody once you type the code, pam, 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 you are transacting already. And Jumia too, they did the same thing by putting their QR code on billboard, whereby you will just scan, they take you directly to the landing page, then you will add stuff to your cart and perform whatever transaction that you want to perform. And another medium that I am going to pick, I'll pick local events, just like what Wuraola picked. And I would like to cite this example, Ojudioba, a lot of brands, a lot of brands, a lot of brands. They sponsor that event, and trust me, I want to believe that their performance marketer or growth marketer will know that through this event alone, these are the total numbers of customers we're able to acquire. So those three platforms: radio, heart of home, and local events. So they have yielding return on investment in Nigeria.
Okay, great, awesome. I think this where you just ended is a very good platform for us to go into the next question because you already mentioned that performance marketers should be able to like say, what was the ROI, was there any increase, was there any beep? And this is the major thing. Even when we're talking about misconceptions about traditional media, what we mentioned was like how do we even prove the ROI? How do you say, this billboard actually led to um, um, reasonable growth or led to reasonable results for for the business like brand. So that leads us to my next question, which is about being able to measure the ROI. So a lot of people say this is very challenging, and because, like you said, it's traditional marketing, right? They are not really, the tools for measuring are not that straightforward. So for you, I think we'll start with Ade. What innovative practical method do you think businesses can use to effectively track and attribute customer acquisition to their traditional media campaign? So how do we track and how do we attribute that, oh, this particular channel brought us this number of traffic or brought us these results? So what tools or what strategies do you use to track and attribute?
Okay. Yeah, I think with my experience, there are a lot of innovative ways businesses and brands can track their return on investment or measure it. So, and I think I've mentioned it earlier. Number one is promo codes. You know, so let's use brand A for example. You put out your promo code and say you put it on TV, and during the family sweat time or during their relaxed time, they saw your promo code and say, okay, fine, use this promo code to get so and so. See, through that alone, you'll be able, or you can be able to determine numbers of people that visited your website or that use your promo code as at the time that the campaign is running. And another thing is you can also use QR codes. A quite numbers of people now, they will put QR codes on banner, even they put it on TV, on YouTubers and the co. You can just say, okay, scan this code to do so and so. Scan this code to get so percentage. And through that too, you can use that to measure that, oh, this particular lead or customer is coming from the QR code I put outside or the code I put outside. So another thing, we can use surveys with exhibitions, events. You can use that to get okay acquisition. Oh, due to this event that we sponsored, we're able to generate this lead. So I would also like to mention, okay, they did something recently too, whereby they put out their stuff and people come to their booth, registered, and all of that. So through those innovative ways, you can measure total numbers of people that visited your website, that use your code, that use your KPI. Even sometimes we put number out for those that can receive calls. We say, okay, call this so number. And quite numbers of people will start calling you. So there's this campaign that we launched for a client, and this client does not even do anything, just a few call to action and the person's phone number. And this person said, please, can you take down the campaign? I have had enough call. And I was just like, wow, but Oga, you said you want people to be calling you. But, and within my mind, I am kind of happy and satisfied that, oh, for this person to tell us that, okay, fine, we can blank the campaign. Okay, yes, definitely, it must have achieved something. So all of those innovative ways, performance marketers or growth marketers can measure return on investment on traditional media.
All right. Thank you very much. Over to you, Ura.
Thank you. Before I go on, I want to ask Adedamola, do you work with okay? But
So I
I
actually
think-
work with them. They are one of my clients because we launched
I
a
knew it.
last month, and I read a lot of case studies about them, so that is why I know about them like that.
Oh. Oh, that's very interesting. I mean, I do follow a number of the activities, but I think I should also read up on this case studies because I'm hearing like a lot of interesting things that I can, just borrow. Let's not use steal, just take inspiration from for a brand. But yeah, so to to support what
So,
Adedamola has said, he has really touched on quite a number of ways, methods that you can use to effectively track. But I just want to buffer up some of them. So in the cases where he said survey, so yeah, the survey and then survey both during sign up or when they are first interacting with your brands. You if you're using selling a digital product, I'm sorry that I keep mentioning digital product because like quite a number of the brands I've worked with have been digital products, but also been able to move it into market it effectively in traditional media. A key step you should never miss in your sign up is asking how did you hear about us, especially if they didn't sign up with a promo code or link, right? And you're running traditional media, maybe you've not, or even if they have, it's just key. How did you hear about us? Put it there, radio, TV ads, digital. You can even specify Facebook. People will click it. It's very there. The promo codes, ensure, just tips by the way, ensure your codes are something that is like very, very easy. I think we all remember when GT Bank 737 there's a reason why that's stuck. I won't lie to you there. I don't know if I know any other bank shortcut. But even I don't even know if I was an average user of GT Bank, but just because it was so simple. So yeah, so ensure that even if you're putting out codes in something that maybe you have an event, let me use Ademola's Precious OPay, for example. Maybe they're an event, they can do OPay, then maybe first two numbers of the event or OPay 25, something like that, where it's very simple. You won't have to think much. The user might not even have to go back to try and remember, oh, where did I see it and all of that, and skip that process. Um, Something else I wanted to say is that if you're using numbers, for example, like, oh, call this number or WhatsApp this number, try to make it that dedicated number for the platform, right? So that you don't mix it up. Because if, for example, you're saying message our support number to get something, there are so many people that message, even your users, several people message your support numbers, for different things. So that may model up your tracking, right? So if you're running a radio program, you already have like a dedicated number. You know that, okay, everybody coming in, reaching out through this channel, that, okay, yeah, it's because we put out this number. You might look at it like, oh, extra expensive, but believe me, that extra experience will give you a clearer and more actionable data to use. And like he said, we've mentioned your surveys, and then survey too. So you might have done, and it's not bad if, for example, your product is even one that is not new, or maybe you've done your traditional media or your ongoing. You can still do it even to your current users, right? Maybe once a year, we want to learn more about you. It's not a must that you say, okay, how did you hear about us as the only question. You can ask for that things. Okay, maybe what parts are you in now? And then you just put it there. When was the first time you heard about, our brand? And that will also help you along the line. Then key thing is if you're having events, if you're having what's it called? Yeah, events, especially community based, if you're having market activations and all of that, please, because most times when you use market activations or have events, some is not, you don't, brands, especially if it's like all these big um activities, may not necessarily use in-house staff. They already know that, okay, we will collate and keep this data. So maybe if you're using an agency that is providing it, ensure that they are briefed that, okay, it's very, very important that you're able to keep number. I think it has happened. I can't really remember, but I've been aware of an incident where they really lost number of people that they got signed up, and that event was not trackable. And even though the numbers increased on the back end, you couldn't say for sure that, oh, this was what we got. And it just really does not help you track the ROI very, very well, and attribute your customers. So yeah, so ensure that you train them, let them know that, okay, you want to keep track of everyone that has signed up. Like I said, also get very actionable feedback and insight to improve your business. So yeah, just
All right.
slight buffer up to all that
Thank you.
Demola said.
Thank you very much, Rura. Thank you very much. I think so. Basically, what we've covered, we've talked about promo codes for billboard campaigns and even other platforms. Promo codes are a very effective way to track where the traffic is coming from. We've also talked about surveys. I think on the phone number when I did an OH campaign recently, and literally the call to action was call this number, right? And then we had it dedicated. We had to go register a SIM card, fresh new SIM card, so that we know
Exactly.
that you could not have come across this number except you saw our billboards. And then right when you call, we even get to ask you where, because we had multiple billboards across Lagos, so we could not track which
Hmm.
billboards were performing the best. So it was a very effective way for us to see what was happening, how people were resonating with the message, and then track what value we were getting from it. I think another example I'm going to talk about was there was a time when I was at Safe Border, when we even went very scientific to the fact that, so what we did was, because it was a digital product, right, we could track where downloads of our apps were coming from. We could like geotag where
Yes.
downloads of our apps are coming from. So when we installed billboards across town, we had to go get like the coordinates of those billboards, and then now compare the data after we installed the billboards to before we had the billboard, just prove that, oh, because then we had investors and we had to show that this money we're about to spend on OH, there's
Mm-hmm.
actual results coming from it. So we're not able to compare app installs at those locations, a 3 mile radius around those locations with billboards, to previous data of app installs maybe 3 months before we installed an app. And what we noticed was that we had like a 20% to 30% jump of app installs in those locations where we had our billboards, because our product was a product that once you see the message and you download it, people could actually start to use the product immediately on the spot. So it was a very good, that was a very good experiment for me to see that, okay, you know what, this thing actually works, right? Because we had, in some locations, we had as much as 50 to 60% increase in app installs in those locations compared to data when our billboards were not at those locations. And the only thing that changed was, oh, we installed billboards in those locations. So sometimes you can, depending on the kind of product you're pushing, so you can be very scientific and very granular to measure, okay, I want to prove, I want to see, does this thing work? Especially because in growth marketing, it's all about experimenting. You want to double down on channels that are working, you want to optimize channels that are not working. So depending on what your product is, you can figure out ways to like actually go deeper and get data. And I think one story, because I did that when I was saying OP, so I'll tell my OP story, right? So when it launched, I'd been seeing the
David.
I'd been seeing the ads on social media, but I was like, what's this product? I just knew OP, but so there was a day I was traveling down from Lagos to Ibadan. And then, you know, when you're about to get to the park, you're thinking, oh, how do I want to get home? Do I want to use public transport? Do I want to? So I just got to Tollgate and I saw this massive billboard, 15 naira anywhere. Right in the bus, I downloaded the app, signed up, and ordered an OP. And that was how I got acquired into the OP ecosystem. It was through traditional media. I'd been seeing it online. I never made that decision, but I was about to get to the bus stop. I'm like, oh, how do I get home from when this bus? And I just saw the massive billboard, 15 naira everywhere. And I was like, really? 15 naira everywhere? I downloaded it.
Imagine. Just imagine.
So, so that was how I got acquired into the OP ecosystem. I've been in that ecosystem for what, over 6 years. And I'm sure they've made multiple lifetime value for me as a customer and every other person that acquired through those channels. So yes. Thank you very much for the insights.
Sorry. Okay. I just wanted to mention again that a good way to also help you is actually to use digital platforms. So, like you said, okay, see Canva, that ad that you saw. Now people are talking about it online, right? Because what that is doing is it's like a domino effect. You know, someone has seen it and then they've gone online. Now, by sharing about what they've seen offline, there are more people have now seen it online, and from there they can go ahead to interact with the brand or sign up or something. So yeah, also the fact that you're running OOH campaigns doesn't mean you can still track, you know, how those campaigns are doing online. Just set your mentions, you know, put your Google alerts out for keywords that will just notify you whenever it's being talked about. So I just wanted to add that before we move on.
That's very insightful because there's also a domino effect, like you said, whereby traditional media also impact what happens online and in digital channels. Thank you very much for that. So moving on to our next question. This is more of a futuristic question, like so looking 5 years ahead, and I think we'll start with Adedamola on this. This is on the buying side. Looking 5 years ahead, what role do you see traditional media playing in the customer acquisition strategies of Nigerian businesses? And also, are there any emerging trends within traditional media that marketers should be paying attention to?
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. I will keep telling people that okay, traditional media is not going anywhere soon, and it will keep evolving because it will keep serving as a complementary platform to digital channel. So imagine me waking up in the morning and tuning in my radio because I want to listen to the update of the day. I am on transit. I'm seeing advert everywhere on the billboard. You know, I go back home at night. I turn on my TV and I'm watching TV. So all of those things will not make digital media, sorry, rather, um, traditional media to go anywhere. It will just keep evolving. And one of the trends that I discovered soon is this programmatic OH, whereby advert brand messaging is being tailored to a particular location. So imagine you are on the highland, you want to talk to the premium audience, so you have to put your brand there. And if you're on the mainland, you want to target people on the mainland, there are ways you could tailor it to them in terms of messaging. So same thing is also applicable to radio because there are some particular radio stations that the broadband does not get to the highland, it's just on the mainland. And there's a particular radio that the broadband does not get to the highland. It is just on the highland. So doing all of those stuff, targeting and targeting your campaign based on your audience. So that alone is a trend. Another thing is this radio influencers, the OEP that I mentioned. You know, these guys, they have begun to drag people from digital media back to traditional media because you want to listen to your favorite radio show on Friday, listen to Dotun, the Energy Guard, listen to Nedu, and a quite numbers of them like that. So those stuff make it very very hard for traditional media to phase out. And another thing I would like to mention is TV, even TV too. My Airtel, they are doing something now on TV. I can't really remember the name of the program. So they do it on TVC, whereby, they gather equal numbers of TV, like a TV show, probably sponsored by MTN, and sorry, Airtel rather. Sorry to miss that out. Sponsored by Airtel, whereby, you come to the show, watch it. Very, very educative. Very, very educative program. You watch the show and you will stand a chance to win a particular prize. So all of those trends keeps media, keeps traditional media, keeps it in the loop. And it is not going to phase out anytime soon, but it will keep serving as a complementary channel or media to traditional or to digital media.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ade. Over to you, Wura.
Okay, so number again, I'll be supporting what Adedamola said, but before we even go into 5 years ahead, I just want to mention the ways that traditional media, is still playing right now, especially in terms of digital media, right? I think it has started, but it's just going to be elevated in the next 5 years, which is that is our traditional media is going to use blended strategy. So what I mean is, so for example, the way he said, oh, if you're on the island, you can access maybe a station with broadband on the mainland or in state, but traditional media has started blurring those lines now. So there are a lot of radio stations now where you can actually watch the shows that someone in, I don't even know, 2 states ahead are listening to. They are listening on their radio, right? I in Lagos, I can watch the show. Like, so I'm a fan of BTS. I'm BTS Army, and then there are some radio shows in, I don't even know which country that they are playing their songs or they have a particular event, and then I just go online, and so it's still you're consuming the radio station. And then so I think this is something that businesses should also take very good advantage of. So don't just even think by advertising on the traditional media, you are totally eliminating or is solely focused on people offline alone. Traditional media has now been done in such a way that even their content can also be consumed online and by everyone or anyone in the world or in a wider geographical region anyway. So not only are you capturing those people that you're not seeing online, you are also now adding people online as well for the price of, just the strategy. So I think this is something that is going to just improve. It's going to just get better in the coming years. So another thing I'm really, really seeing how I'm interested to see how real life what really I don't even know the way people do lives now and do like these giveaways. I feel like traditional media already does it, but I think they're just going to improve on it because we watch shows now. People are like, oh, start calling the number now and everything, or you're right. So I just want to see that improved upon because I feel like the way the lives right now, streaming platforms, because a lot of platforms are allowing streaming, microblogging. I'm interested to see how traditional media would take advantage of that opportunity to, in the coming future. I mean, we watch maybe a good example is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where that part where you dial your answer in. Today, I think they only do it for people in the studio, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see. No, they do one part. There's one that MTN was sponsoring that people from home. Did they call your number?
Not so
That
sure. I
kind of
think
thing.
that's when you do like a call
Okay.
a friend.
So they will
No, no
display a
call.
question on the screen.
Mhm,
This is how they used to do it then. They will display a question on
mhm.
the screen for people at home. Then
Oh, okay.
when you answer the question, you stand a chance to win a particular amount of money then.
A particular amount, yeah. So I'm really interested. I think with the use of, technology is evolving with the use of AI and everything. I think traditional media, that's something because that is very, very engaging. What that tells you is that people are glued to that show. And by extension, your messaging, right? So I'm really, really interested to see. I think those are some things that traditional media will be able to offer more people. And then also, I think expansion of rural radio stations. So right now, in a lot of rural societies in Nigeria, radio is really their means of communication. So I think let me just stay. I think too much, but I'm really interested to see how that will grow. Where those rural stations, I think it's part of what I've also mentioned, where if they adopt some digital strategies, for example, they can reach a lot more people because they have content that are peculiar to the areas they service that would be very, very interesting to other parts of the world. Imagine knowing something that is happening because we think, oh, because of the world. Luckily, because of digital media, now we are able to know things that are happening across the world to an extent. But I think we could know a lot more than we currently do. And I really I see traditional media taking us there. And as such, those are opportunities that are going to be for brands because it's just going to be able to place you in front of a global audience. So those are my additions to this. I don't know if I've done good justice.
Interesting. Yes, you've definitely done justice to it. I think I would also add my
Mhm.
own, like what I've also noticed. I think one thing I've seen, especially in terms of like traditional, in let's say billboard, is like even the content delivery and the way we deliver content on this channel. So I've been seeing these things with die cuts whereby they're not just people are not just doing regular billboards anymore. They're trying to make them hyper realistic. You see, especially
Yes,
the what
LED billboards.
yeah, the LED ones, even the plain ones, this lamp posts,
The
people give
static one.
shapes, they are the static ones, so you have shapes of it. It's not just the general rectangle that you just go and read. They make it look very so it pulls your attention in. There was one I saw on
Mm.
LinkedIn by an agency whereby literally the billboard was on fire and it was not actual fire, there was a
Mm.
campaign that was
It was
stopping
just
on
a drawing.
and it was so realistic. People were like in the bottom, like fire, 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 and people really thought it was fire. Meanwhile, it was just they just made it look so realistic. So I think those are like trends
Mm.
that
That's
brands
interesting.
that brands can leverage on. Also, I think with the aspect of virtual reality and augmented reality with the LED boards, you could there's so many things we can play. Right with this AI thing, and there's so many ways we can now make the content more realistic and pull people in. So definitely I'm looking forward to what I love. I really love traditional marketing campaigns. I always love when brands go all out for it. But I think we see people just stuck in loop of wood. They just want to do what everybody else is doing. So I'm looking forward to like the innovation that will come into that space because I think it can be very, very, very interesting.
Yeah. And then I think, sorry, just to add to it, do you remember experiential marketing where people go on the street and then just do something, well, like that man that was in a box? So I think that's
Box.
going to go on a whole nother level in the next
MTN,
Yeah.
5 years.
the
Yeah, it
man in
was
the
empty that
box.
did it. That one that lived in that. Yeah. So yeah, those are really also going to go. Wow. And the good thing about that was it was driving up conversation offline, was driving up conversation online because it was even online that I knew about it.
Yeah,
So
Yeah. So
that's true.
Mattel actually did the same thing with Mattel House, whereby people will go to Mattel House, talk about their experience and the likes. No,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
I don't have much information about that because I don't work on the product.
Uh, awesome, awesome. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. Just looking at our time, I see we still have we're a bit behind time, but then I'm sure we can still cover some of these questions that we have. So I would like Ade to start with this also. What's one piece of advice you would give to a business owner in Nigeria who is still, who is still a bit shaky or hesitant about investing in traditional media, but they need to diversify their customer acquisition channel. So what would be that advice you would give them to get them to start to adopt traditional media marketing?
David, I don't like to advise so that by the end of the day, you could not come and hold me back that now, and you are the one that advised also.
Ooh.
But, but
No,
for
you're in a
me,
safe space. You're in a safe space. You're in a safe space. Don't
okay,
worry. You're
great.
in a safe
Okay, great, great. Yeah, great, great. But my advice would be for every business out there, I would like to say, okay, just start small. Start small. So you never can tell. Maybe that 5 million of yours will be the money that will give you the client that is going to help you cover your yearly return on investment. Just start small. So you don't have to have a big budget before you can leverage traditional media. We don't have to. Just start small. At the end of the day, you will use traditional media to spark curiosity, and you will allow digital media to drive the conversation. That's very, very simple. Oh, this is my budget. Okay, these are the kind of people that you're targeting. Oh yeah, let's do this here, let's do that here. By the end of the day, we'll come back, we'll measure it, and we'll know that okay, fine, this is working and this is not working. The one that is not working, let us optimize it. And the one that is working, let's enhance it. So it is very, very simple. Not small. You don't have to have budget like Coca-Cola or MTN before you can leverage traditional media. So just start small. So that's my advice.
All right, thank you very much, Ade. Over to you, Wura.
Okay, actually, my advice is the same as so try. I think the first thing I would say is, I rather than even advice is just to say that traditional advertising, traditional media is not this daunting because when you think about it, like, oh my God, so I have to shoot this, so I have to. I mean, you're online, you're already creating content for your brand. Anyways, while it does need, so it's not as resources consuming as we like to think. So you really, apart from starting one, then you're a small business owner, for example, you can even start with your immediate environment, right? Call your friends, start with word of mouth. Word of mouth too is a type of um well, I wouldn't call it, but it's not digital marketing. I don't know if you add it to traditional marketing, but it's something, it's offline, right? Okay, let them refer. You can run the referral program that you're offering to your people, you're offering of online. You can tell them, to, okay, if you bring me maybe 5 people from your office to buy this, I'll give you this, before you know it, you already set up a chain of supply there. Yeah, so like you said, start small, but more importantly, in choosing to go with the traditional media is ensuring that your message matches with the audience you're trying to target, so that because traditional media really give you a wide, so even the particular show that you want to maybe place your ads in, or the location, is that where the people that you hope to use your service or buy your products, yeah, is that what they would see? So you might need to do like a bit of research in that aspect. But yeah, so starting small is not it's not like, oh, with big money you can start small with small money. You can even just go spread, give flyers at the market, tell people, let them know what the difference is. Ensure that your messaging is very, very clear. All right. And yeah, so because really over 50% of Nigerians, we are still like, we don't have consistent internet access, right? Even us that's with the internet savvy now, it's just one rainfall or two away from,
From
can you hear me? Can you hear me? Right?
yeah.
It's just, so you need to talk to people. So sometimes online good, offline better. So yeah, I think that's my advice.
All right, thank you very much. I think my addition to this is because I know most of the people on this call are probably marketers who work for businesses. As a marketer, your job is
Mm,
to figure out your acquisition channels, right? And depending on just digital acquisition channels may work on the short term, but in the long term, you might get to a point where you're fully saturated and you need to explore that channel. So the earlier you start to think of, oh, what channels am I going to leverage on, what message can I push out on these channels, the better for you, right? And I'm someone that I don't like to put all my eggs in one basket. So even if it's a digital first product, I'm already thinking what are the channels I can also leverage outside of this expected marketing mix I already use already outside of digital. What traditional channels can I leverage on? Do I think my customers are on? Because at the end of the day, you want to meet your customers where they are, which goes back to the example I gave on when I was at Sig, whatever I said. We realized that our power users were not even digital savvy. They were not online. They were market women, civil servants, small scale business owners. So we had to go meet them where they were. So that's why we had to leverage on radio, because when people are at work, they listen to radio a lot, billboards, they are moving around town. And these were the people we really needed to. So it's your job as a marketer to figure out your channel mix and then leverage on it properly. Thank you very much.
yeah.
I think
I also just wanted to quickly add, also take advantage of events. I just realized. So yeah, like if you notice now, even like technological or digital media houses are having events, like think about, they have so many. There's a reason why they are doing all of these things, because you know meeting in person, Um, communicating, networking is really the key in is also very good. So yeah, take advantage of business events, trade fairs, all these shows in your niche. You acquire new customers, and you get so many insights from that. So that's sorry, my bad, my bad.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rura. Thank you very much. We're more than halfway through. And I think the last question, which is for the general questions, we also have some questions that are specific to each of our speakers here. But then for this general question is just drill in on this traditional media conversation we're having. This is what's the single most powerful advantage traditional media offers for customer acquisition that digital media cannot fully replicate? That is there something I think that traditional media brings to the table that digital media may not be able to give? And I think I would like to start with Ade first, and then Ura can close up for us.
Okay, so I think our one unmatched advantage of traditional media. So I will mention the trust and the authenticity, because when we are talking about trust, equal numbers of people, even our mommies, they'll just be like, oh, I have heard this on the news, I have seen this, I have seen that. They give that level of credibility to traditional media compared to digital channel. And between you and I, there are a lot of content that is out there on the digital channel, which it happens to be a partial truth compared to traditional media, because there are a lot of gatekeepers in traditional media whereby quite numbers of people will vet before they push it out there. And I think in the digital space, they're they are yet to fully replicate that, because we don't have quite numbers of them gatekeepers for digital messaging. And trust me, traditional media carries a lot of legitimacy, it carries prestige, and let me call it communal familiarity. Because I can't imagine my mom calling me that, oh, don't go out today because they say so happened at Ikeja. I was like, mom, where did you hear this from? And when I got to Ikeja, I discovered that, okay, fine, that stuff happened actually. But that does not stop me from moving. So that level of credibility, authenticity, and trust, digital media cannot fully replicate it. So that's it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ade. Over to you, Ura.
Okay, I think mine would be stickiness and top of mind awareness. And I say this so, like you said, digital platforms, there's so much content to consume. You're scrolling, like it really takes a really powerful ad, for you to pause and maybe read what you're seeing online or something. But offline, no, you're listening, you're enjoying, you listen to it. Next day, you listen to it. You know, third day, you listen, or you're passing terminal bridge to work every day, and you see this ad. Maybe you didn't even think much of it. Next day, you see it, and paired with the legitimacy that traditional media has already given you by even having your brand out there or people there. As Adedamola said, so you're seeing it. So it's already like there's that stickiness it gives that digital media has just not been able to offer you. It really, really it's top of mind for you. Like whenever you do choose, while some people may not take action immediately, when whenever they choose to take action, you'll find that it is mostly fueled by the stickiness that has been created by by the ads, the engagement, everything they've seen. You go offline, you meet people, that trust is even stronger. Like, oh, I remember I met someone from that brand. Oh, very nice, right? Oh, I remember I said I had a TV. Oh, I remember I saw them on billboards, right? See what it is for you now. See your example. If you had seen the OP ad, David, that said 15 naira everywhere, maybe you were scrolling on Facebook, you saw it, you would have scrolled,
Yeah.
but you saw it on the billboard. Seeing it on that billboard has already instantly cemented, like, okay, this is legit because you know they can't put lie on a billboard. Like they can't put what they are not offering. But meanwhile, online, like David said, there's less checks there. You can put any, you can even hide a lot of things under terms and conditions
Conditions.
that you may not even be able to see. So yeah, it really gives traditional media really gives that stickiness. It does more than convert or give you a client. Most of the time, it gives you a loyal customer. a loyal client, someone that has the trust in your brand. So I think that's a that's my
Interesting. I totally agree with the points you raised, especially on that trust. And I really didn't know until I started doing OH, whereby you see people would say, especially I work in the B2B space now, and people say, yeah, we've heard of you, but we've not seen you. And what they are saying is they've really not seen you anyway, even though you're doing a lot of digital, but then the moment you start to go traditional, maybe you do a billboard or you do a radio ad, then it just kind of gives them like, okay, yeah, these people are serious about their business. And it's very for startups, whereby startups are trying to try to disrupt traditional business models. You might need to leverage on traditional media at one point in time. So if you see what how Chowdeck has gone on with it, they're a digital product. They could as well have just focused on performance marketing and online acquisition, but then they knew that they needed to build that top of mind awareness to break into people's minds and let people know that okay, this is a product that can deliver what they want. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for sharing. We're about to now move into the next phase of this session whereby I'll be asking personal questions relating to products or brands you've worked with, whereby you could just share some insights, real life insights on what you've worked with and how you've been able to apply this leveraging on traditional media channels for your own job. And I think my first question will be going to Wura. Um, so we know Ura, I know you currently work at Afriex, and we know Afriex is a digital product, right? But I would like to know when you guys decided to now, leverage on traditional media and traditional channels, what was the first step you took, and what were you considering when you decided to make that shift or that expansion into traditional media marketing?
yeah, thank you very much. Sorry, my internet was glitching for a moment, but I'm glad it's back now.
You
So
jinxed us.
for
You
us,
jinxed us when you mentioned.
I swear that was what I was thinking. I was like, oh my god, why did I make why did I mention the internet can trip now? I was so worried, but I'm glad I came. I'm glad that actually didn't disappoint me. So yeah, I mean, so I wouldn't really call it expansion, not a shift, because we are still combining both. But one key thing that really helped us say, okay, so we've always had some sort of traditional media activities in terms of like sales. We are really community driven, because the core of Afriex's service or solution is remittance. So you're helping, and we're focused on the African diaspora experience. So, and one thing about the African diaspora experience is community. So we've always been trying to engage in some communities. But one way to now, okay, expand some of our traditional marketing activities, I think the one thing we were looking at was number one, the timing, right? Like when would be a good time, even though people send money all the time, but we didn't have a large budget. So we wanted to choose a time where it will be most maximized. That's the ROI. And more importantly, we now decided, okay, who are these users that we want to engage offline? So we have our general, everyone. And then yeah. So the first step was we decided on the timing to actually expand our traditional media activities. We defined the users, and then we now chose, okay, the platforms and then locations. So for timing, we decided to do end of the year, festive season, because as we all know, that's when people travel to their respective maybe home countries. So summer too is actually a good time. People travel a lot during summer, but we decided to start with, because end of the year, and also with the message we wanted to pass, we wanted to really bring up that connection, because that end of the year travel back home, you've already missed everywhere. So there's already like that emotional appeal with it, right? There's that ginger, like, God, I'm so going to. So yeah, we chose that. Then who are the people? Yeah, of course, people traveling back home, and then what platforms do we want to use? So where we considered, okay, airports, because you're in airport, you're even, because aside from just remittance, if you use the product once you're here in Nigeria, maybe someone coming from the US, UK, for example, a lot of the money they have, they're not necessarily carrying naira, or you don't want to go through the hassle of, because once you have the app, you can just come here and make your payments in naira easily. You don't even need to swap or change. I hope people can hear me. I see Adedamola. Okay. Okay, you can hear me, right? So those were all of the things that we also factored into the, you know, messaging and then the type of platforms to use. So we decided to do billboards and then roll up. Well, I guess it was still billboard, but like banners in the airport because airport there's quite a number of waiting around. So people have time to read all of these things, because you're waiting for your taxi, you're waiting to get your bag, you're waiting to get called in, you're waiting to, so you have time to, oh, what are they advertising here, to read it, go through it and assimilate the message. And then, of course, we also looked at like popular roads, the express what that airport, the airport road, Tomiland Bridge, Island Road. Like, okay, so where are they going to? Where are they going to be congregated and all of that? So yeah, really the first step we took, and these are so it's also that is how will I put it? This is a bit service and product specific, but it might also be helpful for a lot of people because there's really no all time is right, depending on the business and for us too, because people send money every time. But we just looked at okay, what time would really give us that maximum ROI for it that we know that yeah, people will be more gingered. And that was already so around when we know people were traveling and going out, we will definitely catch our core audience there. And what more, this will be a service that, they too would, it will come in handy to them. It's just like where OPay put their billboard for you. There's a reason why they put it at the end of that Lagos Ibadan Express. So, that people, is that exactly the same thought you had, David, where you're like, Omo, how will I get home like this? Right? You're coming from a journey. So all of those things are very, very strategic. Right. It's not the people might just think, oh, they just like, no, it's not. Believe me. So they already imagine you're coming already thinking, how will I go home? And then you just see 15 it's you just even see it as like a life-saving solution. So yeah, those were some of the steps we took, and yeah, I think other brands can learn one or two things for. And since David's internet has tripped up, I hope I didn't pass the internet issues to him. Admin, can you? Okay, Ade.
Okay, yeah. So I can still hear you, Wuraola. So it seems he has a bit network issue. Okay, so I think I would like to talk about my own this thing. And the question says, how can business effectively integrate their traditional media efforts with their digital strategies to create a seamless and more impactful customer journey? Okay, I think David is back.
I think
So
the internet can also happen to me. My internet also got cut off, so I just had to like switch internet quickly. But
we can understand.
yeah, yeah. So I'm guessing where has done addressing that question. So I think maybe it's time for Ade's question, I guess.
Okay.
Um, yeah. And Ade, so my question for you will be how can businesses effectively integrate traditional media efforts with their digital strategies to create a seamless and more impactful customer journey?
Okay. So for every business to create truly impactful and seamless customer journey, so businesses must treat both traditional and digital media as a complementary force. You know, none of it can work in silos. So they have to work hand in hand. So if my product is on the digital channel, equal numbers of people can stroll past it, just like what Wuraola had said. But if I am complementing it with a digital or with a traditional channel, then definitely it will stick and it will give you that kind of level of trust about my product. And I want to believe that all of these top brands they adopt the strategy of incorporating the both channel together to give an impactful and seamless customer journey.
Yeah, yes, definitely. I definitely agree with you on that. I definitely agree with you on that. I think what we've seen most times is like Wura has also mentioned a lot that most of the time, whatever you do on traditional always has an impact. It flows into what's happening online. It also drives conversation for you online. So I think for marketers and businesses, you also need to figure out how do you make it sync together? How do you make campaigns? As a performance marketer, one thing I've realized is most times when we're running digital ad campaigns and we have OOH, we even see the effect that it drops the cost of our digital campaign. So you see your cost per click drops, your cost per install drops, because people have already seen it offline. So it's easier for them to take action online. So most times when I'm running performance campaigns, I try to make sure that there's a level of offline campaign also going on that is complementary to what I'm about to push online. So I definitely agree with you on that, Ade. Thank you very much. So my next question goes to Wura. You already touched on it a bit, but maybe if you could go more in depth for us with your work at Afriex. So we're talking about audience segmentation. How does audience segmentation and targeting differ when planning for a traditional media campaign compared to a digital one? Like, so what unique insights do you think you get from traditional media that helps you in segmenting your audience and targeting them?
Hi, okay, yeah. Thank you. So, I mean, with online, you really use data-driven segmentation. You can use their interests, you can use behaviors, maybe some geolocation, you can use maybe the type of devices that they are using and all of that. While offline, you really have to pay a bit more attention to, their local knowledge, the language, culture, and behavior patterns, depending on who you're trying to reach, right? Because online where you can just put, oh, buy this for something, but if you want to go offline and really connect with the people, it will be helpful, for example, to um put it in their local language. Use an image they they understand. Use was the community leaders that are known and that can convince them. Right? Even the shows you choose to advertise on, you can choose to advertise on a show. Maybe you have an agricultural product, for example, on showing agriculture, or a show speaking their local language. So yeah, uh, so I think those are some of the ways it differs, because online is really based on, okay, where they are based. So it differs, but also what's the word? Crosses over. Like location is something that is a key factor to most people, even though both can maybe expand, give you a bit more people, but for offline, which I think online is now beginning a bit to do more, like in terms of, branch jumping or maybe some trending sound and everything, but that can be tricky because you can get it wrong. There's some trending words, like, but for offline, you really need to have, a deeper idea of them, the culture, what would I mean, especially because offline again, the ads and everything sometimes may require, like we say, levels of approval. But even if it's that, it's at an event, you want to have maybe a local trusted face there. The trusted face that you would use maybe for an online marketing will definitely, or maybe a bit different for what to use for offline. So for online, for example, let's say, you just want to, you can use like maybe a popular or an actor that everybody knows generally. But if you are now drilling down to like maybe the states or local government, like, oh, I want to put my billboards there, then it's best to use someone that they, know and trust, right? So yeah, so having all of those knowledge, and doing that in your audience segmentation research, and when you're putting all the information together, will actually help you, because even events, knowing what events, where they go to, what they do, like, oh, what channels do they listen to, like what's their daily habits and all of that, that may not necessarily be needed for online. You really need that, and it might just be the difference between, yeah, making your campaign really pick up. And yeah, so offline is really like a bit more tactile, requires a lot of, that's why for some offline campaigns, people actually first employ agencies to do field research. They do field research, they get feedback and everything. So people, sometimes people even go there. So, and let me give an example. When I was working at ESL, this is actually a good one. And So e-settlement financial inclusion platform, when they started and they opened Facebook, they just they started with like a small batch. And then one time they said they just decided to travel to Osun State, Ogun State, just to see like by this time the brand was already like almost 2 years old. They had maybe roughly around 200 agents and they were just there, but they didn't really understand how dire the situation was in terms of how underserved the communities were. So it was when they really traveled that they realized that okay, this is how people were getting money. For you to get to an ATM, you literally have to travel an hour to the closest ATM, right? You have to travel like over an hour to get to the closest. And when you go there, there's queue. You might go there, there might not be money there. The bank might be closed by the time. So like they found out that people, for them to even get cash in some communities, they literally have to not go to work on a day, like maybe they won't open their shop so that they can go, get cash and all that. Like if they hadn't traveled down to see that, and those were a lot of the insight that they now got helped with our offline engagement. And because what we now did was we now hired DSAs in not just the state but in the communities, right? To now go and then empower you, train them. Once you have one person that has a smartphone, at least with the mobile app or mobile banking is really, really simple. You don't need like a complicated phone, right? Once you have someone that has like a smartphone that can at least download the app, we give them the POS, train them to empower that community. And before we knew it, from a business that had like just 200 agents in some states, we literally grew to 13,000. From I think I joined February, yeah. By December, 13,000, and we had agents in all of the states in the country. Like, so this was something we replicated. So we started doing radio. Like, as soon as we knew that, we're like, okay, what are the stations that these infra communities that don't have, you know, radio are targeted languages, telling them it was very simple. Oh, do you need a job? You have this thing, or come and become a POS agent, all of that. So yeah, offline is really, really segmentation is really, really more tactile. You really do need your research. Don't play about that because it will really, really help your campaign take off.
All right, thank you very much. I think what I'm taking from that is first of all, you need to do your research. Don't make assumptions. Do your research, get out there, ask questions, and then use that to now form a basis for you to now go out there to acquire. Thank you very much for that. I see that Ade is back with us. So Ade, I think what based on your experience working with you, work with different brands who have tried to launch marketing campaigns via traditional channels. What kind of messaging and creative approaches do you think resonates effectively with audiences through traditional media, especially when considering the cultural nuances and local context in Nigeria? Are they muted? Okay, okay.
Yeah, okay. David, thank you very much for the question. Um, in the context of Nigeria, on most especially on traditional media, so I could see that our people, they like emotions a lot. So when it comes to emotions, they are very, very emotional. And this kind of content, emotional content and relatable content, it is key whenever you are planning your campaign. And you can make it culturally grounded too. Make it culturally grounded, it will resonate with the people, they'll buy into it when it plays into their emotion. So, in the context of Nigeria, we like emotions a lot. Even people, impulse buyers, they buy based on emotions. And if you are putting out a kind of content that plays with their emotion, they will likely interact with your product. So I want to remember this brand of ours, that asked us to come up with something for them, but I can't really remember the brand because but I can trace back that when I was doing PR, the client reached out, okay, fine, we want to generate leads, we want to do this, we want to do that, and my boss was asking them then, what exactly do you guys want? And at the end of the day, we discovered that the brand does not have enough awareness, but they want people to start patronizing them and getting stuff from them. Then when we do our mathematics, our calculation, so we discovered that okay, fine, we need to make this brand known to people. And what do? We come up with strategy that resonates with them, starting from the influencers that we use, the ATL platform, even to below the line. Everything was emotional. And trust me, today the brand is wonderfully doing well. Only if the client want to say, okay, no, after the campaign we made some sales. It is doing well. So Nigerians will like anything emotional and something that resonates with us. If a brand can touch that part of that part of our emotions, definitely we want to resonate with the brand. And top brands, the like of Pepsi, the like of Coca-Cola, they have done that a lot. Share a Coke with friends or with family. It's an emotional campaign. They did that recently. PZ Kozan is doing it with Mama, with Good Morning Watch, whereby they put names of people on the label of their product. Wash with Dami, wash with so and so. And when I was at the supermarket, so I saw something like that, and it kind of resonated with me because I was busy looking for my name, but to my surprise, they did not put my name, which I am still very, very angry. So yes,
Interesting.
so all of those things, resonate with people, and they want to interact, they want to engage with your brand. So for me, it is emotions, relatability, and culturally grounded content that our people buy into.
All right, thank you very much. I definitely got some insights also because I'm planning on launching another OH campaign. So that emotional part of trying to figure out how do I pass my message in an emotional way that people can relate with is something I will
Yeah,
definitely take back to my team to put into
yeah. Even
consideration.
if you see what Jumia is doing now, if you see what they are doing now, so based on each geopolitical zones, they tailor their messaging, they tailor their campaign to the people local language. In Lagos, which happens to be the south, say Ibadan or York and all of that, they tend to advertise in Yoruba language. Up north, they are speaking Hausa. And in the south and in the east, they are speaking those people language. And that kind of resonates with the people. And trust me, even people, if they are focusing their attention on Temu now, now brand we speak my language, I go patronize. So that is what they are doing now.
Mhm. Interesting, interesting. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really, really got some wonderful insights here. So Wura, I'm coming back to you again because obviously Afriex is a wonderful brand. So we want you to give us more secrets from what you guys and how you guys are doing it there. So my question is when Afriex is looking at print or outdoor advertising, what are the critical factors you consider for location, design, and call to action to maximize effectiveness? I know you already mentioned airports already. So are there other like locations that you guys leverage on? And then in terms of design, what kind of call to actions do you use that we can learn from and also maybe find a way to replicate?
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, additional locations, since, like we said, a number of our messaging, uh, jet towards, the diaspora and people looking to make global payments. We are really big on communities, right? So we're looking at, oh, maybe Nigerians in USA. And so we start with those communities, we start with their events. So because, we have, why am I hearing myself? Okay. So we have, how will I put it? Our customers in like some set location. So it's a bit easy. So for example, we are looking at USA. Okay, we now look at okay, which part in USA has like more black people or people likely to send money home. Those are some of the things that also. But we are really big on community, so we really engage like a lot of all these Nigerians in Canada community, Nigerians in this. Then any African, we also look for African centric events. Like today, as it is now, we're sponsoring two events. One Niger Market Day in Canada. Then we have another. We have another event in the UK, right? That was supposed to limitless without borders, just with some empowerment, tech, culture. No, sorry, I said culture, career driven. I know a lot of people that relocate abroad, especially with the waves of Japan now. People are looking, okay, how can they make it? How can they expand their career there? So we also target some of those things. Then location wise, I would say location one, but also event. So one key event that we sponsored that really helped us with more awareness in the diaspora market was Afrofuture. I don't know if you know it. So Afrofuture is like this big event done in Ghana where like a lot of people travel from all over the world. It's organized by diaspora, and so people travel, there to celebrate. They have like not just international artists. So yeah, so location wise, yeah. So those are some of the things. Then now because we started expanding to what would I call it? Helping people make, so it's not just about okay, diasporans sending money to Africa, because now you can Africans can send money. So we now start targeting borders, right? So we're now putting banners in border areas, like okay, you're going to Ghana, for example, you don't need to change, use the app, or you can even use an agent um to help you send money. So you can just once you have the what's it called? You have your Afriex, you've funded this. Once you get to Ghana, you can just be paying in Ghana, very easily, like literally very, very low fees and all of that. So we started targeting borders, you know, as well. Some key markets where we know that okay, some international transactions go on. And then also we are looking at key partnerships, you're also looking for businesses that move FX and all of that. So these are some of the um factors we consider for location. I just realized I only answered for location. Yes. So for design and call to action, our design, we try to have like a lot of human elements, because you're asking people to send money, you're asking for trust, right? So you want to put up a friendly and very, very easy to grasp design. So we always ensure that there's a human, friendly human element there. Someone smiling, saying, "Oh, you're looking to send money across countries." Very, very, easy to go. Then CTA is very simple, because most of the time we don't need to say, I guess we can put like maybe the Apple Play Store logo small, but the most important thing is send money across countries instantly. We are immediately offering, so our CTA usually offers a solution to like a possible problem, which is nowhere, because when you're talking of intra-African transactions, is almost near impossible. Like right now, you can send money from Nigeria to UK accounts, to Canada accounts, and all of that easily. Like, but a lot of people know. So you already tell them that they already are me. So that CTA is just straight up. Oh, send money to UK instantly, send money to Canada instantly. Send money to China, to India, and all of that. So our CTA is also like very, very straight to the point. So we don't even need to tell you download the app. You are the one that will want to. Once you see that, like, oh, I can do this, right? You're the one that wants to go ahead. And so we just tell you what you can do with the platform. Yeah. So that's how we've been able to use it for us.
All right, thank you very much, Rora. That was deeply insightful. For our audience, if you have questions for any of the speakers, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. I think we already have a question already from David Udimegu. He said he would like to ask one question. We understand that the world is going digital and there's been noise on adoption of digital. Would also bear with me that we now even have e-papers. So the question is, do you think traditional media print will still be relevant in the next coming years? Um, I don't know. Ade, Wura, does anybody want to
Hmm.
take
Okay,
that?
I
Okay.
would like to, I would like to take that. Do you think traditional media, print, will still be relevant in the next coming year? Definitely, print will still be relevant. So, with the fact that we now have digital copies, definitely it is still the same. It is a replica of the actual hard copy. Now, you cannot tell me a business director, the C class, which is actually busy already, that okay, fine, all of his itinerary is already filled up. We want to go on social media to read about news. Definitely no. He won't do that. He will prefer to pick the hard copy of a print to go through the news. That is why you see most of these politicians, whenever they are doing their shout outs, they use print instead of them using digital. So it can never go extinct. It can't go extinct. So that is why I still recommend for brand to use print to bring them brand commercial equity. Because if you had even the president of the nation to get to see your message, to get to see your message, because that is what it will pick. That is what it will pick. Unlike digital, because it doesn't have that much time to start searching his phone, or even if he's trying to solve the internet and you come across your brand messaging, you will scroll past it. But on print, definitely, I want to see what the people are saying. And through the flipping, through the through the flipping, through the flipping, you will consume whatever message that you want to consume. So print will still be relevant in the next coming years. So it is not going extinct.
Thank you very much. Mura, do you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, so it's like Ade said, So I don't believe it will. I do agree that definitely they will print maybe a bit less than they used to, but just the fact that it's not like the media house is going extinct, they've evolved. It's now in form of digital that you can still see. So it's the same, even if someone doesn't pick, I mean, for authenticity, right? If I want to get valid news, you can just still go through the e-copy and see it. So yeah, I agree that it won't. I don't think it will end extinct. Sorry, I think it will still be relevant. Let me not say it won't go extinct. I can
Yeah,
say.
yeah. Well, do you know that most of this platform now that put digital copies out there, you have to subscribe. And
Yes.
one deputy minister or whatever, he can't even remember the last time he used his money to purchase a newspaper because all of these platforms they give it to them free of charge. And now you're not telling minister whatever to come and pay a particular amount of money to subscribe to your e-newspaper. No, majority of them will not do that because they believe that okay, fine. They hardly go on the digital platform to read news because they believe that okay, fine. Most of it are doctored. But on that print, they want to do it okay, and they know that okay, anything they are saying on print, and the thing goes against them, they know who to hold accountable. So, so please, so I'm just adding to whatever that you have said.
All right, thank you very much for that. Thank you. So, like I said, I think the final question will go to Ade as we start to wrap up on this wonderful conversation. So Ade, obviously, you had experience working with different businesses who are trying to launch traditional media campaign. What are some of the most common mistakes you've seen businesses make when venturing into traditional media, and how do you think they can avoid those mistakes? Hello, Ade, did you get that?
All right. Okay. Okay. Can you put that again?
So the question is like, what are some of the common mistakes businesses make when they're trying to go into traditional media marketing, and how can they avoid those mistakes?
Okay. I have seen a lot of mistakes or blunder committed by brands and business owners, but majorly upcoming startups. And number one mistake that stood out for me is not having a clear objective. So even in life, each and every one of us as an individual, we have an objective. So and for you as a business, you must have a business objective. You don't just pick up radio and say, okay, because people, my competitors are doing radio, let me do radio. Because my competitors are on billboard, let me also be on billboard. Even as a matter of fact, Fidelity Bank now, Fidelity and FCMB Bank, you know, they use all form of media to communicate with people. But UBA from their hand, they were just like, okay, we have tried on out of home. Okay, now let's focus on digital. And why do they do that? It was actually because they have a clear goal and a strategy that back that up. So for every business, start with a clear goal. So it could be awareness, it could be to drive foot traffic, it could be anything. Every goal that you are setting for yourself must be tied back to the business. So that is my number one um, observation on the kind of blunder that business is committed. And number two is using the same messaging. Hey, if you are using the same message across all channels, hi my brother, it is a lot. It is a lot because radio, each and all of these channels, they have the way their messaging are tailored. On radio, if you do radio hype on radio, you cannot do TV hype. It is not possible. It is either you put out a commercial, a TVC ad, and the radio jingle. So every business must know how to tailor each messaging to each platform. So that is another mistake I discovered because I have come across somebody and he said, okay, fine, just put my this thing there. And we put it and he said, okay, fine, I want to do radio interview. And this person went on radio and started rambling. I was just like, okay, in as much as, but at the end of the day, we working in the agency will always be at the ground because they will come back and tell you that okay, fine, the campaign that you launched for me is not working. But meanwhile, when we are trying to explain to them that okay, each channel have its own way, you can run with it. Just try as much as possible to stick to it, because we are the professional here, we are the expert. So don't deploy one message across all channel. For radio, you already know that you will do a jingle, you will do radio hype. So tailor your messaging to that particular channel. For TV, you will know it is TV commercial. Maybe you will need a face, a well-known face, to be the face of your brand. Tailor it to that level. And for billboard, you can still use that same face. You can use the person image to be the face of your brand. Tailor it to it. That is so simple. At the end of the day, we are working to achieve one objective, which is to create awareness or generate leads. So that is my number two this thing. And number three is neglecting the target audience. Oh my chimo. If your messaging is not aligning with the target audience, you will just discover that your message is going left and the audience are going right. Have a clear target audience alignment. So you cannot want to if you want to sell golden more, if you want to sell golden more, you can't advertise directly to the people that consume golden more. You will advertise to their parents. So once all of those things aligns, then you can always have it at the back of your mind that you are doing the right thing. And another one I also like to point out is not tracking and measuring. Oh, and David, trust me, uh, after every campaign execution, one thing that gives growth marketers, even people we within the agency, one thing that gives us headache is tracking it. Because at the end of the day, we always have this kind of fear that, oh, what if? Because one of my colleagues will always ask me that question, that this thing that you want to do, what if it does not work? At the end of the day, we still measure it. If it works, then we will optimize. Sorry, if it
And if it
works,
doesn't
rather.
take lessons,
No, definitely we'll pick our lessons. If it works, we will enhance. And if it doesn't work, we will take our lesson, then know how to optimize it. We'll know how to optimize it. And there's this one. No, don't let me talk about it, because so it won't be as if I'm trying to throw the person under the bus. This person said, "Okay, let's do this, let's do that," and at the end of the day, we discovered that all of our effort in trying to get this thing right was actually in vain, because people doing the traditional, they are not replicating what the person doing the digital is doing. And at the end of the day, instead of us to meet at one common ground, no, the stuff is not aligning. It is not aligning. Oga, give us link. Let's put it on the billboard. Give us this thing. Give us phone number. Let's tell the whole APs to call it out on the radio. Give us this QR code. Let's put it on TV. And we started hearing different kind of story. Don't worry. When they consume it, it will stick. It will stick to their head. And whenever they come across our brand, they will make a purchase. Yes, we understand. But let all of these things, let it integrate. And at the end of the day, you'll be able to measure it. So those are the common mistakes that brand consume. Number one is not having a clear goal. Number two is the messaging, not cascading different messaging or tailor it to different platform. Number three is not aligning with target audience. You cannot be advertising. You cannot be advertising your product to people that are not the right target audience. And number four is not tracking it. So you have to track. If it works, fine. If it doesn't work, take lessons and optimize. Optimize. So those are the mistakes, David.
Thank you very much, Adi. That was really insightful. That was really insightful. Thank you. So, one of the members of the audience, David, he dropped a follow-up question, which I would just like us to answer, and then I think that will bring us to the end of this session. So, his question says, while we understand that digital media is prevalent and communicators' most preferred choice, especially in terms of tracking reach and metrics, how would one be able to track that of radio and print? I think we've talked about it, but maybe we could just gloss over it one final time before we end the session.
okay, yeah. So we have indeed talked about it. I think the good thing, especially for print, is that you can actually for print and radio, right? Codes is really codes, QR. Those are really your best bet, especially for print. I mean, you put it there, ensure that it's something easily rememberable. I don't know if that's the word. Something that can be easily remembered, even for radio. Because one good thing about radio ads is that it's repeated. So, and then most times, whenever there's a CTA, maybe you have to call a number or you have to dial a code or something, they usually also repeat it in the jingle, right? If you're maybe engaging an OAP to talk about it, that's even better. They will, OAPs, they love to repeat like, remember this, they will repeat it. So what you want to do is attach a small offer because that will now give people an incentive to use that code. Try and attach a small offer to your code, put it there, you have your, and that's a good way to track. Another good thing is people signing up. Ensure you make use of the surveys, which is something we've touched on. You know, ask them, okay, how did you hear about us? And also do this surveys periodically to even both your existing customers to just say, oh, we want to learn more about you, tell us. Then if you are using numbers, ensure that it's a number that is assigned to only maybe a particular platform. Like if you want them to dial a WhatsApp number or text a WhatsApp number or dial, ensure that that number you've aligned it to, oh, this campaign in this maybe radio station or print, and then you know that everyone coming, calling or reaching out through that way. And always train your people. Okay, even print and radio you mentioned. So yes, codes are really one of the best ways you can use. Thanks to technology, once anyone signs up, at least your system will see it on the back end, so you can say, okay, so people signed up, or so people came, made inquiries about the service, they said so. Yeah, I think those are some of the key ways you can use for radio and phone.
Yeah. So Wuraola, in addition, so we could also track the metrics um, of radio and print. For radio, so it could be on broadband. It could be on broadband because each and all we have a tool that we use to track total numbers of listeners that listen to the radio, and through that, we have a calculation we put in place for that. So
Yes, that makes sense.
I don't know. So I heard to explain the calculation, but it's a bit tricky. It's a bit tricky on how you calculate total numbers of people that listen to whatever you put on radio. And
I think I remember it.
for print, we have circulation rate. We have
Yes,
circulation
yeah.
rate. So we can also use that to track the reach and metrics of that
And those
platform.
are really key metrics. Yes, yes. Those are very, very key metrics to also track.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. This has been really, really helpful. I want to say big thank you to our speakers who made our time to, share in their depth of knowledge with us. Um, uh, yes. Okay, I can see that I'm now up the screen. Okay, so over to you, Faith.
Yes, thank you so, so much, David. Trust me, that was an amazing section. Can you confirm they can hear me?
Yes, yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay, great. That was a really amazing section, and I'm sure that our audience as well learned a lot. So this is Faith from GrowthHackers Africa. So I just want to use this opportunity to say a big thank you to our speakers, our amazing moderator. I was saying, David, I don't know how he did it, but he was able to get our speakers to speak in a very conversational format. Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Wuraola. Your insights are very valuable. Thank you so much, Adedamola. Thank you for mentioning OPay. Thank you for using case studies. Thank you so much. And this is how to connect with our moderator and our speakers. So you maybe want to take a screenshot, connect with David on LinkedIn. You can connect with him on Instagram as well, like you can see on the screen. You can also connect with Wuraola on LinkedIn as well. So let's take note. You can reach out to them. I'm sure that they'll be open. They did justice to this topic today. Yes, you can also connect with Adedamola on LinkedIn and on Instagram as well. Great. So thank you so much once again. I don't think we can thank you enough. We really, really, really do appreciate your insight. So at the end of the whole webinar, when I'm done, I'm going to take it back to this how to connect our speakers in case you were not able to capture it. So this is GrowthHackers Africa, a fast-growing community of 700 plus growth professionals working in tech startups across Africa. So this particular webinar we have today is part of our content series called the Pillar of Growth series. And this is about our 7th or 8th webinar. We're still going to 12th one. And the next one is into the street, the impact of direct sales agents on product distribution. So, if you enjoyed today's section, you can join us the next one happening July 19th on Saturday, same time. It's going to be an amazing one. We're going to be revealing the speakers as well with time. So you can follow us across our social media platforms as well. So if you would like to be a part of GrowthHackers community, GrowthHackers Africa's community, this is the link. You maybe want to also take note of it to join. We'll be really, really glad to have you with us and inside community. So thank you so much once again. I'm going to just take it back so you can connect with our speakers. Thank you so much, David, Wuraola, and Adedamola. It was an amazing section with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you
I
for having
appreciate
us.
the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
So is this bye, everyone?
Yes, thank you.
Right. So Faith and David on Wuraola. So we can always
Yeah,
connect.
bye, Adedamola. Bye, David.
Yes,
Very
thank
lovely
you.
to chat with you all.
It was awesome.
Enjoy the rest of
Yeah.
your weekend and have a
And
wonderful
you too.
weekend.
Thank
Bye.
you so much.